Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA. My name is Seamus Brady, and for this video I am joined by Mayo journalist Chloe Lynch. We're just going to talk about the result that has just happened. Meath winning back-to-back All-Ireland titles in the Ladies Football Championship. Of course, before they won it last year, they'd never won it. Now they've done back-to-back titles. Eamon Murray's Meath team will go down as one of the most loved and possibly one of the best ladies football teams that we've seen, which is a big statement considering the dynasties that we've seen over the last 20 years. But Chloe, this performance was brilliant by Meath. Fantastic. They struck at key times. The goal, especially the goal from Niamh O'Sullivan, I thought that really finished it off. But yeah, I thought their performance throughout this game, they played this year like champions, I thought. They kind of tiptoed through. They had a few close scares, but they saved their best performance to the last game. They saved their best performance for the biggest day. Very similar to the Limerick Hurlers, turned up on the big stage. All their big players were there and they got the job done, winning 3-10 to 1-7.
Definitely, agreeing with everything you said. But it can't even like they did win the big one, but you can't. First 10 minutes, where were they? I thought Kerry were storming on, and I looking to maybe get the job done and give them a shock. And we got the goal from Louise. Outstanding player throughout this year. Definitely, one to watch for this year's All Stars. Then once it kind of got level, they just started getting up and running again. First 10 minutes, like as I was saying, like where were they? But they got the wake up call when Louise's goal went in. They shouldn't have been playing like that. For first 10 minutes, and I'm shocked when Kerry got the goal, and it was neck and neck, and second half just came out. They realized who they were again. As you were saying, they've built absolutely a tremendous CV over the past 2 years, and they proved they're making everyone in Meath proud. It was a great day yet again for Meath ladies football, and they have a lot of momentum under their belt now, and I just think an absolutely brilliant group of girls, and well deserved on the day.
Yeah, no doubt. And you mentioned the Louise goal. Do you think she meant it?
Yeah, but going into any All Ireland, men or women, you just have to go for goal, as they say. As I've said on these earlier episodes, she's a machine. She had an absolutely brilliant start, and unfortunately just lost that say throughout the game. Once they got that, it was good for them to Kerry to have that goal, but we saw when all three Meath's goals went in, they were just I saw Louise in particular just slapping the ground, and you feel so sorry because they've had the 10-year wait, and from coming from a county that's been to losing finals, how would they feel? And but they can't, even though they didn't take home Brendan, they have an absolutely amazing had an amazing year, and I just think yes, they didn't get the one that they wanted, but they've achieved so much. They absolutely, Kerry just went toe to toe with Mayo just to get in the final. Look, Meath ladies are Meath ladies, and they just showed up. They showed the momentum, and they are creating absolutely great careers for themselves on both panels. And it was another great year sealed off for ladies football.
Yeah, no doubt. Another year of progress. I think one of the big things we have to talk about when we're talking about this game is the Meath defence. I mean, this Kerry team coming into the game, they put 4 goals past Armagh in the quarterfinal. They put 4 goals past Mayo in the semi-final. The form that the likes of Louise Niemeyer-Herzig were on was incredible. She got that goal and then she didn't score a point from play. And that's something that we have to put down to the absolute form of Shauna Ennis, the absolute form of Mary Kate Lynch, the absolute form of Katie New and that full back line, that they just shut down these Kerry forwards that have been tearing it up.
You saw whenever you watch it, whenever, say, one Kerry lady got the goal, there'd be at least 5-6 players around her. And, you'd have to go back. one of the traits of Mayo. Like, you know, they just didn't seem to get around at all, and like, you know, that resulted in the score being what it was. But you know, it's a great defending from Meath, but you know, like they just left the second half to wake up, and like, you know, we've seen the form Kerry have been on throughout the year. Like if you, and even in any final, if you take your eye off the ball for just 1 minute, like it can result in absolutely detrimental things. Like, you know, Meath, as I said, like the ladies, Meath ladies have just have the experience under the belt. You know, they created their history last year. Kerry only got the little bit of momentum this year. Meath know what it's like to get just to push and get over that line. And like, you know, you can see from their form today, like why they're all Ireland champions, and like, as you know, obviously well deserved. And like, they're just ones that just kept going and kept fighting. Like, but you know, as we were saying, like, you know, once Kerry had the ball, Meath at least 5, 6 players around. Like that's the stuff. That's the kind of tactics you need to keep that lead. And like, look, Kerry didn't. Kerry just didn't get it. They got tired a lot in the second half, and like, you know, once the final whistle gone, you know, look, when you compare both halves, like me, they didn't have a great first half, but like, you know, they've just been outstanding and deserved winners of the day.
Yeah, and the way they responded to that initial Kerry goal and two right at the start of the game by hitting the next 1-5 without reply, that really showed just the experience that they have. I think last year's All Ireland final and the way that that game went and getting over the line by 1 point, I think that brought so much to them in terms of their composure, their calmness. They stayed with it. They didn't panic when Kerry got the run on them at the start. They stuck to the defensive structure. They knew that it would ground down the likes of Louise Newmar-Herzig. I mean, Siobhan O'Shea is the only one that scored from play more than once. The rest of them all were held pretty well. I thought, you know, especially the likes of Danielle O'Leary didn't get a sniff throughout the entire game. Whereas Meath, on the other hand, I mean, their players turned up. You got Niamh O'Sullivan there at 1-2, Stacey Grimes 3 points, Vicky Wall 3 points. On a day when Emma Duggan only hit 1 point, and that was from a free, the other Meath forward stood up, and Vicky Wall, I mean, 3 points, absolutely incredible. When one of them was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, she just belted it over from a huge distance out. Like, she's a tremendous athlete, and obviously we're going to get on to her future later on in the discussion. But Emma Troy, that goal, I think that was massive for the momentum. Obviously, you got Kelsey Nesbitt, great run through the Kerry defense. I think she's taking a shot for a point there, and it runs right into Emma Duggan, who then sticks in the net. How crucial a moment was that in the game's path?
Like, I don't, you know, we were on there, everyone, like both Kerry and Meath fans were on the edge of their seat watching that one, you know, just to see their smiles when it went in just proves how much it meant, you know. Like, even say if Meath only got that second goal, like, you know, Kerry still had it in them to try and get some back. You know, as I was said earlier, they were just, their tiredness was a massive kind of factor in their second half. But you know, we just saw the quality and the level that ladies football has finally gotten to after so long. You know, like, you know, although, like, say some of those girls are off to Australia, like, you know, like, think of all the momentum they will have when they go in. I just, you know, those goals were just unbelievable. Like, obviously, once they kind of got their first one, say, you know, it, like the game set was here, game on. And like second, you know, it kind of sealed it off for them. But you know, we saw what it meant to all the girls, and like, you know, it was, you know, like, as I said earlier, you know, it's all about going for goals, because in All Ireland finals, points like don't get you a lot. It went in doubt, kicking in the back of the net really, and you know, absolutely outstanding play. And you know, it, like, obviously it was a massive one of the deciders, and like, I just think they did absolutely brilliant. And it was just great for them to get that momentum going in, say, even just to get to that final whistle. Like, say, even for Louise's goal, like, you know, it was brilliant. Like, I forget what minute it was, but you're like, goals kind of make thrillers finals, like, even it's for any match, say just points, you're like, oh, okay. But like, seeing all the roar, seeing all the green flags go up, when Meath got those goals, it was absolutely brilliant. And like, it just created another great final for them.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about the second half. Obviously, half time, Meath go in a goal and 8 to a goal and 5 in front. Then they struck at two crucial times. I mean, Niamh O'Sullivan's goal to make it 2-9 to 1-7. Kerry only scoring 2 points in the second half. It's something that, it's not good enough really to win an All-Ireland final. You're not going to win an All-Ireland final with 2 points. First, the Niamh O'Sullivan goal, I thought that came at a crucial time. And then the third goal from Bridgetta Lynch, just the way that it happened as well, the way that it hit the post, came back to her and she stuck it in the net. Like, it was a real, like, okay, that's it now. It's finished. And you knew that they would have to score 3 goals in 7 minutes against a defense that they had barely been able to get through. I mean, the Louise Ní Mhuircheartaigh goal, like, that wasn't even necessarily a goal chance. Kerry hadn't really played through the Meath defense in the entire game. So once that goal went in, I never, ever would have believed that they could have come back from it. Those 2 goals, you mentioned about goals win games, but as well, the timing that Meath struck was crucial.
Like, going once the second half started, like 1-5 to 108, like, that Kerry still had a chance, I don't know what happened to them. Where were they at all? Like, me just saw, like, here, maybe they're not performing, time to attack. They did, as I was saying, like, tiredness was the main factor for them in the second half. And like, say even for Louise, like, she missed a lot of wides. She missed a lot of points, say, that could have helped them out a bit more. It was like they were dependent on her, to be honest. Just because, no one else was really giving it. Once kind of Louise got that goal, maybe they were just like, here, we'll go for points. But like, they didn't, like, I can't remember, but like, they didn't have a lot of goal chances at the second half, and like, slipped up kind of, Meath were walking all over them in the second half. I know the criticism sounds a bit bad, but like, an All-Ireland final, you don't want to be coming like that into the second half. Like, they always say, whoever's leading their first half in the first half will always win. And like, whatever was said, even like, may put them off. And like, but Meath just showed why they were the reigning champions. And like, look, the result matched well. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Kerry. Like, absolutely unbelievable girls, but like, they just didn't play at all in the second half, and Meath saw that and just they prevailed. Like, like Vicky Wall was literally walking through them when they didn't have the hunger. But even as I said, even though they didn't get what they wanted, like, a great momentum going into next year. Like, I know it was a long 10-year wait for them just to get to the final, but like, they should see from looking at today. Look, there was obvious mistakes, but they're well capable of putting up the fight next year.
Yeah. You obviously mentioned Vicky Wall, and in this part we'll talk about her and her future and her info. We all know that she has signed in Australia. How crucial is that now to this Meath team? Have you seen enough that Meath can carry on being All-Ireland champions without her? I mean, she's probably one of the best players in the country, probably one of the best athletes that we've seen in the country. She's massive to this team because she takes the ball so many times from defense to attack. She's able to kick points from distance. Do you think Meath can live without her?
Like, they can. Say for even the Mayo panel, we are probably the ones that have been hurt the most with players going off to Australia. But like, we got to an Ireland semi-final in what, 6-7 years, and like, the main focus on the Mayo camp was like, oh, Sarah Rose gone, the Kelly sisters are gone, but like, we still got there. Like, you can't be dependent on the ones that help, like, say, control the most. Look, like, Vicky is absolutely unreal, both on and off the field. But like, they have more. It's not like, I know she's going right, but it's time for the younger girls to maybe look, oh, she's going. Maybe I can put people on notice now. Like, even I know this is men, but like Paul Towie is in Chicago now, and like he scored like at least 1-7, 20 out there, and like everyone's like, oh, look at him now, put the management on notice. It's all about making management on notice so you get your time out on the field. Like, all the girls going off in the meat camp are absolutely outstanding, but like, they have more than what, 3, 4, 5 players, and like obviously there will be a miss, but like, you won an All-Ireland. Five players or four or whatever going shouldn't be affecting you. Like, they'll be absolutely amazing out there, no doubt about it. But as I was saying, it's time for the other players to be stepping up to the plate now, and like making sure this momentum keeps going on for them, really.
I do I take your point on that, and that Mayo got to the semi-final and everything, but part of me also thinks, what if they had the Kelly sisters, and what if they had Sarah Rowe in that panel? Could they have made it further than the semi-final? Could they maybe have won the final? It was because I saw particularly noticeable drop off in Tipperary once they lost Orlo Dwyer and Ashleigh Maloney. There was a noticeable drop off in their results, their performances, because those two players would walk into any team in the country. And the second they went to Australia, the fulcrum of Tipperary's attack was gone there. And they haven't been the same since. And for me, Vicky Wall is so crucial to every part of their play. Don't get me wrong, they have other great ball carriers there. Orla Lally, Niamh O'Sullivan are very good at moving the ball from A to B. But Vicky Wall is probably the best athlete I've seen, especially in the field. Like, one of the best in terms of like her fitness, her power, pace, and where she can score points from just changes the game, especially for teams trying to play the blanket defense against Meath. Vicky Wall can shoot outside where they would park that blanket in front of. Very similar to how kind of Paul Flynn, Dermot Connolly did that for Dublin, in the meant that teams couldn't sit deep because they just ping points over from distance. That's very similar to what Vicky's able to do. She did that in the final there against Kerry. She's able to hit it from huge distances out. I think she is that good that if she goes, Meath might be beaten next year. I would tip Meath, that having seen them this year, right now, obviously recency bias is a good influence, but right now I would tip them to be seriously hard to beat next year as well. But if Vicky Wall goes, I think they're a lot more beatable. And on top of that, maybe the whole mentality of, oh, Vicky's going, let's win this All-Ireland. Could that be like the swan song of this team? Could that be like the end of an era almost? It'll be interesting to see what happens over the off season now.
The matter of time will tell.
Yeah. And and then for Kerry as well, their future. You mentioned the final. They've made huge progress this season. I mean, at the start of the year, I don't think anyone would have predicted them to go as far as they've gone. What can they do next year?
Look, I know I kind of criticize them a little bit, but I'm a male woman. They built us fair and square. What you like any team, you have to see them up close and personal. Like Louise Neymar Hurtig, the name says it all. To be honest, I've on previous episodes here, I've been, I love that girl, and they done it. They can realize, I know it was a 10-year wait, but they realized, they can do it. They can get the job done because, you got to an All-Ireland final. Use that momentum next year going in. Have the hunger and the passion just to you just jump over that last hurdle. They started today off brilliant. First 10 minutes, obviously, they were dominating, and I'm being honest, I thought Meath were in trouble. Even in the first 10 minutes, they have great momentum going into next year, but just keep that mindset. It's all about mindsets, because you can go in and be like, oh, sure, we lost last year, but seeing all the talent that is even on that field alone, it's it was unbelievable to say, because they need to go in thinking, here, look what we achieved after a 10-year wait. Look what can be achieved. And I think they'll be one to watch next year going into the inter-county season again. And to be honest, even when Mayo and Kerry, I didn't like, they give us an awful hammering, and even in today's match we saw the best two teams go at it, and the fans there were treated to an absolutely amazing game. But the work, and it's all about the work and the passion and the determination that's been put in behind the scenes. And they realize now they have a great panel of girls, and keep that momentum going in for next year.
Yeah, no, without doubt. It'll be interesting to see if they can go that one step further. But for this year, it was not enough, as Meath win back-to-back All-Ireland titles in the Ladies Football Championship, beating Kerry by 3-10 to 1-7. This has been the match review here on Play On GA. My name has been Seamus Brady. I've been joined by Chloe Lynch. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in. And until the next one, take care.